Good evening, ladies. So, the topic in week 3 of our One Another study was harmony. And I want to address tonight one of the misconceptions that sometimes arises around the concept of harmony. And I want to do this through the analogy of music. You see, harmony is the exact opposite of unison. When voices or instruments sing or play in unison, every single member of the ensemble plays the exact same note. And there are moments when that's necessary, and it's a beautiful contrast when that happens. But the richness of a sung music or a played music is not in the unison, it's in the harmony. Harmony necessitates the presence of different notes. If you're thinking about singing, beautiful harmony happens when there's a soprano voice and an alto voice and a tenor voice and a bass voice all singing together, but different notes joined together to form the richness of a chord. There's layering there, there's depth there. And harmony in some traditions, like Black gospel or jazz, also includes the occasional presence of a blue note, a note that kind of jars or that doesn't resolve. That's a part of the harmony, the beauty, the tapestry of voices singing together. And in jazz, if you're familiar at all with that genre, when a group is playing together in jazz, there's this constant ebb and flow as each instrument takes for a moment the lead and the other instruments drop back and play harmony underneath that melody. And then that instrument will fall back and another will take the lead. And that's a beautiful picture of what it means to live and to exist in harmony. So when Paul and the other apostles call us to live in harmony, to make that a part of our one another experience, they're not talking about the elimination of difference. What they're talking about is how we operate as different people united in Christ. How will the richness of our life together be not problematic, but delightful? And one of the keys to that is in the letter to the Philippians. We've spent some time there already. But in chapter 2, after Paul has called them to have the mind of Christ, and after he has reminded them of what Christ's example looks like, he says in verse 12, "Therefore, my beloved, because of Christ's example, here's a way that you can live as a Christ-like community." And verses 14 through 16 are really key for us as we contemplate what it means to live in harmony with other believers. Verse 14, and I'm reading from the NRSV, "Do all things," Paul says, "without murmuring and arguing." There's the key. "So that," and here's the purpose, "you may be blameless and innocent, children of God without blemish in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation, in which you shine like stars in the world." In other words, our choice, our decision to live in harmony with one another, to bring our different voices together without murmuring and complaining and arguing, is an important part of our witness to the world. And Paul goes so far as to say in verse 16, it is by your holding fast to the word of life that I can boast on the day of Christ that I did not run in vain. Well, how are they holding fast to the word of Christ? Paul has in mind here not so much doctrinal purity as relational witness. Their capacity to exist in harmony in the midst of their differences by doing all things without murmuring or complaining is what Paul says will witness to the world and will give him deep joy and gratitude as he looks at the results of his investment in them. So again, harmony does not mean unison. Harmony assumes different notes playing together. And in Philippians 2, Paul gives us a clue as to how that many-noted, many-voiced harmony will play out. God bless you.